10 years. A decade had passed since the family disappeared. No clues, no sightings, no answers, just a hole in the hearts of those left behind. The town had almost forgotten them, burying the pain beneath the routine of everyday life. But sometimes, the smallest action can undo years of mystery. It was a quiet night when Max, a German shepherd with eyes that seemed to see more than humans ever could, stopped in his tracks. His ears perked, his body stiffened, and he barked, not at a stranger, not at a shadow, but at an old, crumbling chimney. Everyone else saw nothing. But Max knew. That bark, that single, insistent alert, would unravel a decade-long mystery. It would reveal the truth, uncover the missing family, and show the town that sometimes courage, loyalty, and attention to the smallest detail can change everything. The town was quiet, the kind of place where everyone knew each other's names and life moved at a steady, predictable pace. Streets lined with old trees cast long shadows at dusk, and the air carried the faint smell of wood smoke from chimneys still in use. Among these familiar streets walked Officer Daniel, a man known for his calm demeanor and unwavering dedication. At his side was Max, a striking German shepherd with a sleek black and brown coat and eyes that seemed to miss nothing. Max wasn't just a dog. He was Daniel's partner, his confidant, his silent guardian. Together, they had solved countless cases, but what set Max apart wasn't just training. It was instinct, a sixth sense that often guided Daniel toward danger, toward those in need, even when humans overlooked it. That night, the town appeared peaceful, almost sleepy. But Daniel had learned long ago not to trust appearances. And Max, his partner, was about to prove once again that courage and attention could reveal what years of searching could not. The quiet of the evening was the calm before a storm, one that would uncover secrets buried for 10 long years. 10 years ago, the Mitchell family had vanished without a trace. John and Lisa Mitchell, along with their 2 young children, had been the heartbeat of their neighborhood. The house once filled with laughter and warmth became silent overnight, leaving neighbors stunned and heartbroken. Search parties scoured forests, rivers, and abandoned buildings. Officers chased every lead, every rumor, but nothing ever surfaced. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. The case went cold, but the pain never did. Relatives clung to memories. Birthday candles blown out too quickly, empty chairs at holiday dinners, the sound of laughter they would never hear again. The town whispered about what might have happened, accident, foul play, or disappearance by choice, but no one had answers. And somewhere, the Mitchells were out there, lost to time, until one night, an unexpected hero would notice what everyone else had missed for a decade. Max, a loyal German shepherd, was about to change everything. After 10 long years, a tip had finally brought the case back into the spotlight. A neighbor recalled seeing unusual activity near the old Mitchell property, a lead that reignited hope for the family that had been missing for so long. Officer Daniel and his team were called in, and at their side was Max, the canine whose instincts had saved countless lives before. Max sniffed the air as they approached the abandoned property, ears perked and tail rigid. Something about this place felt different. Daniel had worked with Max long enough to trust his every reaction. As they stepped closer, Max's movements became deliberate, almost insistent. His gaze fixed on a single structure, an old, crumbling chimney at the back of the property. The other officers shrugged, unsure why the dog seemed so focused. To them, it was just an old, abandoned house, long neglected and forgotten. But Max wasn't just seeing a building. He was sensing something hidden, something that humans had overlooked for 10 years. And in that moment, Daniel realized, sometimes answers don't come from maps, evidence, or years of investigation. They come from instinct. Max barked, sharp and commanding, breaking the silence of the overgrown yard. That bark would be the first step toward uncovering the Mitchell family's fate. The house was a shell of its former self. Paint peeled from the walls, shutters hung crookedly, and the yard was overgrown with weeds taller than the officer's knees. But it wasn't the house itself that drew Max's attention, it was the chimney. Standing rigid, ears forward, Max barked insistently at the crumbling structure. He circled it, sniffing the base, then back toward the top, as if sensing that something long hidden lay within. His growl was low but unwavering, demanding attention. Daniel stepped closer, flashlight in hand, inspecting the chimney. To the human eye, it seemed ordinary, just an old stack of bricks, weathered by time. Yet Max refused to leave. His paw scratched at the ground near the chimney, digging slightly, signaling that this spot held significance. Other officers exchanged uneasy glances. "It's just an old chimney," one murmured. But Daniel knew better. Max's instincts had never been wrong. As the team prepared to investigate further, the wind whispered through the broken windows, and the house seemed to hold its breath. What Max had sensed for 10 years hidden within these walls was about to be revealed, and the truth would shock everyone. Max's paws scraped against the dirt near the chimney, his body stiff with focus. Daniel crouched beside him, shining his flashlight over the ground. At first, all they saw were broken bricks and overgrown weeds. But then Max's nose pressed insistently against the earth, and he pawed at a small, partially hidden object. Daniel brushed away the dirt to reveal a faded, dusty photograph of the Mitchell family. The years hadn't erased their smiling faces, but the photo was buried, forgotten, just like the family itself. A chill ran through the officers. Max barked again, this time toward a loose brick in the chimney's base. Daniel knelt, examining it carefully. With a gentle push, the brick shifted, revealing a narrow, dark cavity inside. Inside, faint traces of belongings, small toys, worn clothes, peeked out. The evidence was undeniable. Someone had hidden something, and it had remained untouched for 10 long years. Max sat back, calm but alert, as if to say, "I told you there was something here." His gaze never left the chimney, guiding Daniel and the officers toward the next step. The truth that had eluded the town for a decade was finally within reach, and every heartbeat felt heavier with anticipation. Daniel carefully reached into the narrow cavity, pulling out items one by one. A child's worn backpack, a pair of small shoes, and a journal filled with years of forgotten notes. Each item told a story of a family trapped in time, waiting for someone to notice. Max remained close, his body tense but controlled, sensing the gravity of what was unfolding. He sniffed the air and barked softly, urging Daniel to keep going. Then came the breakthrough. Beneath a loose layer of bricks and dust, a small hatch revealed itself, barely noticeable. Daniel pried it open, revealing a hidden space, an old cellar beneath the chimney. Inside, in the dim light of the flashlight, the officers found the Mitchell family. They were alive, weak and frightened, but alive. The 10 years of disappearance, the fear, the uncertainty, all had come to an end. Sophie, now a young girl, clung to her parents, tears streaking her dirt-smudged face. Max's tail wagged gently as he approached, his presence calm and reassuring. The dog who had noticed what no human could had led them to the family after a decade of silence. For Daniel and the officers, the scene was surreal. Years of unanswered questions, endless searches, and heartbreak had been resolved in a single moment, guided by the intuition of a loyal German shepherd. Max had done what no one else could. He had uncovered the hidden truth and reunited a family with the world they had lost. The officers quickly worked to confirm the identities of the family. Photographs, personal belongings, and careful questioning matched every detail. John and Lisa Mitchell, along with their 2 children, were indeed the family missing for 10 long years. Relief and disbelief rippled through everyone present. Years of grief and unanswered questions were suddenly met with answers. The town's pain, long buried beneath uncertainty, now had closure. Max stayed close to the family, his ears flicking and his body alert. He hadn't left their side since discovering the hidden cellar. To him, this wasn't just a job. It was protection, loyalty, and instinct fulfilled. Tears flowed freely. The parents hugged their children tightly, overwhelmed by the reality that they were finally together again. For the officers, it was a moment of pride and awe, witnessing the quiet heroism of a dog whose keen senses had solved a mystery that had eluded humans for a decade. The emotional weight of the discovery was almost too much to bear, but for Max, it was just another day of listening, noticing, and acting. His silent courage had made the impossible possible. Outside the old Mitchell property, the first rays of morning light cut through the lingering shadows of the night. The family, finally free from the hidden cellar, stepped into the open air, eyes wide with relief and disbelief. Sophie ran into her parents' arms, sobbing and laughing all at once. Her parents held her tightly, whispering words of love and reassurance they hadn't been able to say for 10 years. The older child clung to Max, stroking his fur and burying their face in his side. Max, calm yet alert, let the family express their emotions. He wagged his tail softly, nudged them gently, and stayed as a comforting presence. His job was done, but his loyalty remained unwavering. Neighbors and officers, who had gathered nearby after hearing of the discovery, watched in awe. Max had not only found the family, but had guided them safely to reunion. The once silent yard now echoed with laughter, cries of relief, and the gentle panting of a heroic dog who had changed lives forever. Daniel knelt beside Max, resting a hand on his head. "You did it, buddy," he whispered. "You never missed a single thing." In that moment, everyone understood Max wasn't just a dog. He was a hero, a guardian, and a symbol of hope. His instincts, loyalty, and courage had turned a decade-long tragedy into a story of love and reunion. Max's actions that night were more than heroism. They were a reminder of the power of attention, loyalty, and instinct. For 10 years, the Mitchell family had been lost, overlooked, and forgotten. But Max noticed what humans could not: a faint scent, a hidden clue, a signal that demanded action. It's a lesson for all of us. Sometimes, the smallest details matter the most. A subtle sign, a quiet cry, or an overlooked clue can change lives if we pay attention. Max showed that courage doesn't need words. Loyalty doesn't require recognition. And heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes, they walk on 4 legs, guided by instinct, heart, and unwavering devotion. That night, a dog's bark at an old chimney didn't just uncover a mystery. It restored hope, reunited a family, and reminded an entire town that paying attention, trusting instincts, and acting with courage can change the course of lives. In a world that often overlooks the quiet signals, Max proved that listening and caring can make all the difference. As the sun rose over the quiet town, the Mitchell family embraced a new beginning. Their decade-long mystery had ended, and the pain of years lost was finally met with hope, love, and reunion. Max stood beside them, tail wagging, ears alert, eyes full of quiet pride. He didn't need applause or recognition. His reward was the safety and happiness of the family he had guided home. This story is a reminder that heroes come in many forms. Not all wear badges. Not all speak words we can hear. Some heroes listen, notice, and act when others cannot. Some heroes have 4 legs, sharp instincts, and hearts big enough to change lives. And sometimes, a single bark, a moment of attention, and unwavering loyalty can undo 10 years of sorrow and restore hope where it was thought lost forever. Max's courage and instinct remind us all: never underestimate the small actions, the quiet signals, or the loyal hearts that stand ready to protect and guide those in need. In the end, it wasn't just a German shepherd barking at an old chimney. It was a hero showing us that attention, love, and loyalty can change the world.